He was bullied for the color of his skin, a lonely 12-year-old boy with no friends. But on Halloween night, something incredible happened. One brave act changed everything. Watch until the end to see how courage turns fear into friendship. If you love heartwarming stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing tales. Kairo was 12, small for his age, but full of dreams bigger than anyone could imagine. At home, he was the picture of a cheerful child, always smiling, always laughing with his mother, and helping around the house. He loved the soft golden light that spilled through their small apartment in the late afternoons, the smell of his mother's cooking, and the warmth of her hug when he came home from school. To anyone passing by, it would have seemed as if Kairo had everything: a loving mom, a safe home, and a happy life. But behind the smile, Kairo carried a heaviness that no one else could see. At school, life was different. There he was invisible, or worse, a target. Every day the whispers followed him down the crowded hallways. Why is he so dark? Can't he just sit somewhere else? Nobody wants to be around him. The words stung, but he learned to swallow them, to smile politely, and to pretend he didn't care. Pretending was his armor. His mom never suspected anything. She would ask, "How was your day, Kairo?" And he would answer brightly, "It was great, Mom. We did fun stuff in class today." She would smile, proud of her cheerful little boy, not knowing that just hours ago, in a classroom full of kids, he had been humiliated in ways that made him feel smaller than ever. The bullies were easy to spot. There was Liam, tall and sneaky, who always smirked when he pushed Kairo into corners or tripped him in the hall. Aiden, who liked to whisper mean things behind Kairo's back, often convincing others to join in just to see the shame spread. Then there were the girls, Zoe, Maya, Lily, and Chloe. On the surface, they seemed harmless, but when they teamed up, they could be crueler than any boy. They would pass notes with mean doodles, draw humiliating pictures on Kairo's desk, or deliberately bump into him and giggle. One morning, Kairo walked into the classroom to find his usual seat had been tampered with. The chair wobbled dangerously, and as he tried to sit, it collapsed slightly, earning a burst of laughter from the surrounding students. That was just the beginning. When he bent down to pick up his books, he noticed something etched into the surface of his desk, a crude, humiliating drawing meant to shame him. He clenched his fists but forced a laugh, trying to act like it didn't bother him. But deep inside, the shame burned hotter than any anger could. He wanted to vanish, to disappear into the floor and escape the constant judgment and ridicule. Yet he knew he couldn't. Every day he had to face it. Every day he had to pretend. During recess, the bullies would circle him like predators. Liam shoved him lightly against the wall, and Zoe would snicker. Maya whispered something to Lily and Chloe, and they would all burst into laughter, pointing at Kairo as if he had done something terribly wrong just by existing. Once Aiden had grabbed Kairo's backpack and dumped the contents onto the ground, scattering his notebooks and pencils. "Oops, did I ruin your day, Kairo?" he said, smirking as the others laughed cruelly. Even the small things felt like mountains to Kairo. The way they ignored him during games, refused to let him join in, or whispered insults behind his back, it all added up. Each humiliation, each snicker and shove, carved itself into his heart. Some nights, he lay in bed staring at the ceiling, wondering why he had been born different, why he had been made to feel so alone. But the next morning, he would wake up, put on his bright smile, and step out the door as if nothing had happened. At home, Kairo's mother was his safe place. She didn't know the details, but she sensed when he seemed distant or quieter than usual. "Are you okay, sweetie?" she would ask, brushing his hair back from his forehead. Kairo would nod. "I'm fine, Mom." Really, and hug her tightly. He didn't want to worry her. His pain was his alone. Despite everything, Kairo had a kind heart. He didn't hate the children who bullied him. He only wished they would understand him, see him for who he was rather than what they wanted him to be. He had dreams of friends, of laughter that didn't hide behind fear or rejection. And although the world seemed unkind most of the time, he held on to hope, small and fragile, like a candle flickering against the darkness. Halloween was approaching, and Kairo was excited. Even though he had no real friends to go with, he loved the idea of costumes. of going out into the crisp night air, collecting candy, and pretending for just a little while that the world was magical. He imagined himself walking the streets with a pumpkin bucket, hearing the laughter of other children, and maybe, just maybe, being accepted for once. At school, the teasing didn't stop as Halloween drew near. Liam sneered when he saw Kairo's costume plans. "Bet you'll be alone trick-or-treating, loser," he said. Zoe added, "Nobody wants to go out with you anyway." The words cut deep, but Kairo forced another smile. He didn't let them see the hurt. He kept drawing pictures of his costume ideas in his notebook, planning every detail as a private escape from the cruel reality of school. Even the teachers sometimes overlooked the bullying, thinking it was just kids being kids. Kairo learned to handle it silently, stuffing the pain into the deepest corners of his heart. But as Halloween night approached, a small spark of hope grew. Maybe tonight things could be different. Maybe he could prove, even if just to himself, that he was brave, that he could be more than the sum of their cruel words. The days leading up to Halloween were the only time Kairo felt a spark of pure, unfiltered excitement. For once, school troubles faded into the background as he imagined the night ahead. The crisp fall air, the rustle of leaves underfoot, the thrill of carrying a pumpkin bucket filled with candy, and the chance to be part of something magical. "Mom, can you believe it's almost Halloween?" Kairo asked one evening as he finished his homework. His eyes sparkled as he clutched a small notebook filled with sketches of his costume ideas. "I've planned everything, the mask, the gloves, even the shoes." His mother smiled warmly, brushing a stray curl from his forehead. "I can see how excited you are, Kairo. I love seeing you so happy. I can't wait, Mom. Halloween is the only night where I feel like a normal kid, like everyone else is having fun, and maybe they won't notice me for being different." His voice faltered slightly, but the smile on his face never wavered. His mother's eyes softened with understanding. "Oh, sweetheart, I wish you didn't have to feel that way. But tonight you'll have fun, I promise. And I'm so proud of you for always keeping your heart brave, even when the world isn't kind." Kairo grinned, genuinely happy for the first time that week. He hugged his mom tightly, feeling a warmth he hadn't felt at school in months. "Thanks, Mom. I'll make tonight amazing." The evening finally arrived. Kairo had donned his costume carefully, adjusting every piece until it fit perfectly. He grabbed his pumpkin bucket and ran to the door, excitement bubbling in his chest. "I'm off, Mom." "Trick-or-treating!" His mother waved, smiling from the doorway. "Have fun, Kairo. And be safe, okay?" "I will, I promise," he called back, already imagining the laughter, the decorations, and the crisp autumn air brushing against his face. Tonight, he would be just another kid. At least, that's what he hoped. As he walked through the neighborhood, Kairo's eyes sparkled with wonder. Houses were draped in orange and purple lights, cobwebs clung to fences, and pumpkins with flickering faces dotted every doorstep. Children ran excitedly from door to door, calling out "trick or treat" and showing off their costumes. Kairo waved to a few passing kids, and for a moment, he felt like he belonged. Then, as he turned a corner into a quieter alley, he heard something strange, muffled shouts and yelps. His heart skipped a beat. Peering cautiously around the edge of a building, he saw them. His classmates, Liam, Aiden, Zoe, Maya, Lily, and Chloe, huddled together, their faces pale with fear. Two large dogs blocked the narrow alleyway, growling menacingly, teeth bared, tails stiff with aggression. "Help! Somebody, please!" Liam shouted, tripping over the cobblestones as he tried to back away. The others cried out too, panic in their voices, their usual cruel smirks replaced with terror. Kairo froze for a moment, shock running through him. This was the same group of kids who had humiliated him countless times, who had laughed when he was mocked, who had pushed him and called him names. And now, here they were, terrified, calling out for help. A strange mix of fear and determination surged in Kairo's chest. He took a deep breath, tightening his fists. Tonight, this was his moment. Not to seek revenge, not to feel anger, but to show courage. To step up and be the hero, even for those who had never shown him kindness. The alley smelled faintly of autumn leaves and wet concrete. The dogs growled again, inching closer to the huddled children. Kairo's mind raced. What could he do? And then it clicked. He had to be brave. He had to act. With a steadying breath, Kairo stepped forward. The sound of his boots on the alley stones echoed sharply, and the children's eyes widened as they saw him. "Stay calm," Kairo called, his voice firm but clear. "Back away slowly." For the first time, the bully's fear was palpable, and Kairo felt a strange surge of confidence. He wasn't just a kid who got bullied. Tonight, he could be their protector. Kairo's heart pounded in his chest as he took in the terrifying sight. Liam, Aiden, Zoe, Maya, Lily, and Chloe huddled together, wide-eyed, frozen with fear. Two massive dogs growled, their hackles raised, teeth gleaming in the dim light of the alley. Panic rippled through the children, their cries echoing off the walls. Kairo swallowed his fear and scanned the alley. He had to act, and fast. An idea sparked in his mind. Risky, yes, but it just might work. He crouched slightly, gauging the dog's movement, then stood tall. "Hey!" he shouted, his voice steady but commanding. "Over here!" The dogs' heads snapped toward him, their growls intensifying. Kairo's pulse raced, but he held his ground. He banged his boots against the ground, shouting again and clapping loudly to draw the animals' attention. The children in the alley stared, astonished. Kairo, the boy they had tormented for months, was taking charge. "Run!" Kairo yelled to them, pointing toward the safer end of the alley. With no time to waste, he dashed forward, his footsteps echoing as the dogs lunged after him. The terrified classmates scrambled, stumbling but following his lead, their usual arrogance replaced by sheer survival instinct. Kairo spotted a sturdy tree near the edge of the alley. Without hesitation, he sprinted toward it and scrambled up the trunk, his hands gripping the rough bark. The dogs, undeterred, barked and snapped at the base, straining to reach him. Breathing hard but focused, Kairo glanced down and noticed a thick branch within reach. With all his strength, he grabbed it and hurled it toward the snarling dogs. The branch struck one dog's side with a loud thud, startling them both. The sudden impact and Kairo's boldness made the animals pause. Growling, they backed off a few steps, glancing at each other uncertainly. Kairo seized the moment. He grabbed another branch, throwing it decisively toward the dogs. This time, the dogs yelped and retreated further, finally turning and running off into the shadows of the alley. Silence fell. The tension that had gripped the alley moments ago melted into disbelief. The children, still panting and shaken, looked up at Kairo in awe. Liam's usual smirk was gone, replaced with wide-eyed respect. Zoe, Maya, Lily, and Chloe all shuffled forward hesitantly. For the first time, Kairo's classmates saw him not as someone to mock, but as someone brave, clever, and strong. Finally, Liam stepped forward cautiously. "Kairo." "Thank you," he stammered. Aiden nodded silently, and the girls followed suit. Their expressions were a mixture of embarrassment and newfound respect. Kairo climbed down slowly, keeping his composure. He offered a hand to Liam, who hesitated for a moment before shaking it. The others followed, the tension between them easing for the first time in months. Kairo had faced danger and emerged victorious, not just against the dogs, but against the fear and prejudice that had shadowed his days. For the first time, he felt it. Acceptance. Not because he changed who he was, but because he had shown courage, heart, and integrity, qualities that no bullying or cruelty could ever diminish. The alley was quiet now. The echoes of barking had faded, leaving only the rustle of leaves in the cool Halloween night. Kairo stood there, heart still racing, but a new feeling coursing through him: pride. He had faced fear and danger, and he had protected others, even the very classmates who had tormented him for months, one by one. Liam, Aiden, Zoe, Maya, Lily, and Chloe stepped closer, their faces pale but filled with something unfamiliar. Respect. "Kairo," Liam began, his voice hesitant. We didn't think you'd..." "We're sorry for, all the stuff before." Kairo blinked, a small smile tugging at his lips. "It's okay," he said quietly. "I just wanted everyone to be safe." The others exchanged guilty glances, shame mixed with awe. They had laughed, mocked, and humiliated him countless times. Yet here he was, brave and strong, saving their lives without hesitation. Slowly, the tension melted, replaced by something warmer. Zoe stepped forward, her voice soft. "Thanks, Kairo. You really saved us." Maya, Lily, and Chloe nodded in agreement. Even Aiden looked embarrassed but sincere. For the first time, Kairo felt the difference. They were seeing him for who he truly was, not what they had judged him to be. The night no longer felt frightening. The Halloween decorations, the crisp air, and the flickering lights suddenly seemed brighter, almost magical. Kairo felt a lightness in his chest, the kind he hadn't felt in months. For once, he didn't have to pretend. Liam, breaking the silence, offered a hand. "Friends?" he asked cautiously. Kairo smiled fully this time and shook it. The others followed suit, each one silently acknowledging a new beginning. As they walked together down the street, laughing nervously but genuinely, Kairo realized something important. Friendship, respect, and courage weren't things he had to beg for. They came when he stayed true to himself, even in the face of fear and cruelty. That Halloween night, Kairo wasn't just another lonely boy walking the streets. He was a hero, a protector, and finally a friend. And for the first time, the world seemed to see him, really see him, for the brave, kind, and amazing boy he had always been. As the houses passed by, doors opening with shouts of "trick or treat," Kairo laughed freely, a sound full of joy and relief. The fear of the past months had melted away, replaced by courage, connection, and a memory that would last far longer than the candy in his pumpkin bucket. Halloween had given him more than candy that night. It had given him respect, acceptance, and the start of real friendship.